Hello, good evening and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 26th day of January 2023. Now, before we get into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the headlines. And in our headlines tonight, Museveni warns against sectarianism, pledges more progress for Uganda on 37th Liberation Day. Government to receive atmospheric water generator from Sweden. 25% of the total global arable land faces desertification. And Paul Tegat impressed by Uganda's Game Connect project. Good evening once again. I'm Lauryn Masika Kazimoto. Now in tonight's news, President Lauryn Museveni has advised Ugandans against voting leaders on the basis of sectarianism. Museveni attributes the success of NRM to a national foundation at its formation that has seen the country progress economically and politically through the years. He was addressing celebrants during the 37th NRM Liberation Day anniversary at Kakeka grounds in the Bunyoro district of Kakumiro in western Uganda. At the same event, Museveni also launched the issuance of land titles to the people of Bunyoro sub-region.
It is these principles that enable Uganda to build institutions such as the patriotic political parties. A party like the NRM is not a party of a tribe or a religion. It is the national political party. That's why we win elections on the first round. We have never gone for a second round. But in 1962, when they had elections based on those sectarian grounds, nobody could get even 40% of the support in the country. Because Parliament ekaba ina abakorasi kinana na babiri. Bakabata koma president niga prime minister na karuru ka abantu bona. No koma kwa bona bakana bakoma abakorasi bakoma prime minister. At Parliament ya nkaga nebiri ekena bakorasi kinana na babiri. UPC no kwiba kwayo batunga bakorasi asatu na musanju. DP bambe ikare wejegire yatunga abiri na bana. Kawaka yeka no kwiba nengesondu zabo batunga bakorasi abiri no nkabanduho nyunkanduho imwe mkweta history yuni mbeta current affairs nabana abagurusi bakabaroho bano ba second bakintu bakabaroho bona nbaroro Parliament yabakorasi kirana na babiri hakaba hatari mu ekitebe ecyabere kine nimusobola kubala percentage UPC asatu na musanju nokwiba kwayo.
I stand here to say that because the people of northern Uganda, when I was coming, told me to communicate to you that with that peace and security which they have received for the first time since independence, uninterrupted, they are very sure that you are the only leader who can continue anchoring that kind of peace.
We thank you for the relentless efforts towards addressing the land question in the Bunyoro sub-region, like you have done in other regions. Under the Uganda Land Fund, government has so far paid for 81,879 hectares of land at a cost of 75 billion to over 450 landlords across the country. This includes the 55 square miles in Bugangaizi and Buyaga. Bugangaizi is 55 square miles. Buyaga and Buyanja is 168 square miles of land. This is in a bid to fulfill your pledge of ensuring that Bibanja holders get tenure, safe tenure.
A lot of achievements have been registered by the NRM, but some members of the public don't seem to appreciate where the country has come from. Our reporter Ivan Kawa had an interaction with the former Prime Minister Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda on the 37 years of NRM, who argues that there is need to improve on the style of communicating government programs.
The National Resistance Movement is celebrating 37 years ever since a team of fighters led by Yoweri Kaguta Museveni took over power in 1986. There is transformation in the education sector, where Ugandans are now able to access free education at primary, secondary and university levels.
Our education system is being geared to being practical so that people after university do not have to depend on jobs from government or jobs by the private sector, but they can on their own embark on innovative ways of creating opportunities, of even not only employing themselves, but also employing others.
The admission of the DR Congo to the East African Community Bloc is also an achievement that will support trade among member states.
So this has been spearheaded by the NRM government and by our president, and it is for the benefit of all of us.
The road infrastructure network in Uganda has reduced the cost of doing business. The main roads in the country are well connected.
This saves time, saves fuel, it expedites doing business, and therefore injects a big dose in the development process.
The country is now well positioned with a strong defense force that is mandated to defend the country from external invasion.
That's why Uganda is peaceful. And I would like to, there is no war we cannot fight here in our country. Any type of war, we shall fight it. We have the capacity and the motivation.
However, there has been public outcry in cases where security agencies are involved in torture allegations, abductions and abuse of human rights.
Must be followed, truth established, and those culpable dealt with. So there is no question of compromise about respect for human rights. We must all respect it. The National Resistance Movement respects that. The President definitely does and has spoken about it a number of times. And all of us should go out of our way to stop abuse of human rights.
In the 37 years of NRM, Uganda Airlines was restored. A Uganda satellite was launched. Kira Motors vehicle production launched. HIV/AIDS contained under various programs of sensitization, and drilling of wells for oil launched. Dr. Rakana Rugunda argues that for the public to appreciate the success of NRM, there needs to be proper mode of communication.
Sometimes the information we give is inadequate, or is incomprehensible, or is too complicated. Actually, one of the problems in the government is poor communication or lack of effective communication. Let's reverse that.
Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Now, though he's not among the 41 historical founders of the NRM that attacked Kabamba barracks with 27 guns, retired Major General Jim Muhwezi, who also doubles as a security minister, joined the NRA liberation struggle in 1982 with a batch of students who had just finished their third-year final exams at Makerere University. The group of elite students that joined that year energized the ragtag NRA rebel outfit. In this exclusive interview, Major General Jim Muhwezi attempts to explain the dilemma at the time that compelled many of the elite students in 1982 to join the NRA Revolutionary Rebel Group to topple what the revolutionary leader Yoweri Museveni described as a dictatorial and tyrannical regime.
He was then 25 years when he took the decision to join the NRM guerrilla war. That's 7 years down the road after the liberation, Major General Jim Muhwezi still associates their cause of joining the NRA revolution to Uganda's bad history, which he claims emanates from the poor post-independence foundation.
The post-independence government we had in 1962 was a result of politics that were unprincipled.
Although in the year 1986, General Yoweri Museveni and other revolutionary fighters liberated Uganda, Jim Muhwezi recalls how it all started.
In 1971, when Amin overthrew the government, the president decided to go out to Tanzania, organize with other Ugandans, and in 1979, they overthrew Idi Amin.
The 1980 general election, in which President Yoweri Museveni contested as the presidential candidate for Uganda Patriotic Movement and lost to UPC and DP with 1%. Museveni alleged that the election had been rigged by UPC, and the fraudulent election formed the ground for him and a group of 41 men to stage an armed struggle against the UPC government.
The hope was that these elections would be different from the other ones I talked about, of sectarianism.
To Major General Jim Muhwezi, this was an opportune moment to fix Uganda's post-independence problems, no matter how long the revolution was going to take.
When the president, after DP had won and UPC had stolen the election, the president decided to go to the bush.
Jim Muhwezi, in his youthful age, was a police officer at that time deployed in the eastern parts of Uganda.
The president kept saying, if you rig these elections, I will go to the bush. I was then in security. I was a police officer in Mbari. But we could hear, and most of the young people were following what he was saying.
This was an opportune moment for him and others to lead a liberation struggle against the dictatorial regime.
There was a DP force, a UPC force. Now they were creating a third force. And it was really very, very attractive to young people.
For the likes of Jim Muhwezi and David Segesa, they had no option other than joining the battlefield.
I was an OC station in Mbari. And I was with General Tinyafuza in the same station.
However, none of the two knew what the future was holding.
We were supposed to be killed, and we decided to fight it out. So we grabbed the guns and fought. They killed one of us, 3 of us escaped. I went to present day UMI. It was then called IPS. My cousin was there. He slept there in the morning. He dressed like a woman and passed through the soldiers, actually, and escaped.
But why was it inevitable for them to see the end of the struggle? It is a question I passed to him.
Because we did not believe that Uganda should go on.
When he joined the struggle with others in 1982, he had no military experience, but he had the conviction and was never scared of the bush life.
We knew that it was going to begin small, but so long as the cause is popular, it was definitely going to catch like wildfire.
But how organized was the NRA back in the bush?
We had our resistance committees. Even here in Kampala, there was a government, but we had an underground government.
Jim Muhwezi says the greatest mistake done by Dr. Abramito Obote was to appoint Smith upon Ochak as chief of staff after the death of Wito Joe.
He could not trust Acholi. There was Tito Kero as the army commander. He could not appoint a senior officer, Basilio Kero or Obonyo, to be second to be chief of staff when Wito Joe died. So he decided to appoint a junior person, Smith upon Achak, a Langi, like him, and the Acholis rebelled.
The appointment facilitated the takeover of 34 Battalion in Rwenzori sub-region by the NRA.
So in Rwenzori, where we were, the commanding officer of 34 Battalion in Fort Potro was Okwera, Major Okwera, who was an Acholi. He called us and handed over to us the battalion. He said he sent a message to the UNRA, the government army, that I'm no longer under your command. I'm now under the command of NRA.
5 years down the road, what started as one man's idea turned into a national agenda and gave birth to a new Uganda in 1986.
So the biggest duty was reconstruction. To reconstruct the state, it was finished.
The current generation is now urged to consolidate what has so far been achieved.
We have reconstructed, rehabilitated, and developed Uganda up to this level. So what is your mission, the young people? Your mission should be to build on what we have made and take Uganda forward.
With powers vested in the hands of Ugandans to decide whom and how they want to be led, Jim Muhwezi is confident that at one moment, NRM will leave power.
Therefore, the people in this government, time will come, they will leave. The important thing, we gave power to the people of Uganda to decide. And we have done it, we have even put it in the constitution of Uganda. There is nothing that we did not prepare for, including when this government leaves power, there is a process that must be followed.
Robert Anyango, UBC News.
Why did I become a soldier? I became a soldier to defend myself and my people against state-inspired violence.
On Feb 3rd, 1981, a group of rebels held a meeting at Matthew Rukikaide's house in Makindye to plan the first attack. They essentially launched the war that brought President Yoweri Museveni to power in 1986. The attack on Kabamba Military School was to enable the rebels get more guns. Although the rebels were 41, they only had 27 guns and a rocket-propelled grenade that mysteriously disappeared before the attack attack. Of the 27 guns, sources say Julius Chihanda, who had been a junior officer in the Uganda National Liberation Army, brought 16 guns. Although there were 41 at the start of the war, the most renowned in the history of the National Resistance Army are the historical 27 as they came to be known. But how many of them are still alive? Mark Wadulo profiles the remaining 8 out of the 27.
Of the 27, only 8 are still alive. These include General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Brigadier Julius Chihande, Colonel Fred Mwesigye, Brigadier Andrew Lutaya, Jack Muchunguzi, President Paul Kagame, Colonel George Mwesigwa, and Colonel Charles Tusime Rutarago. While Museveni and Kagame remain presidents of Uganda and Rwanda respectively, the rest of the 8 either retired or remain in the lower ranks and less influential positions. President Paul Kagame. Kagame, a Tanzanian-trained spy, was a refugee in Uganda at the time he joined Museveni's Front for National Salvation. His intelligence credentials got him a pass into the UNLA army at the time when they were excluding foreigners that had helped them oust Amin. However, as Museveni went to the bush, Kagame was right there. Out of the bush, Kagame still worked as an intelligence chief. He later left the country for studies and later led the Rwanda Patriotic Front that liberated Rwanda, which he, to date, still serves as president. Colonel Mwesigwa. Mwesigwa, who was also among the 27, is now the 2nd Division Garrison Commander in Mbarara. Brigadier Lutaya. Lutaya was a seasoned driver in the bush. He had been Chihanda's driver, and he is the one that delivered the 16 guns that Chihanda reportedly escaped with. He has since retired into private business. He owns Sese Construction Company and is into the hotel business and owns an airfield in Kalangala. Colonel Mwesigye. As early as 1981, when the rebels were about 200 to 300, organized in 6 units, Mwesigye was already a commander leading one of the units called Nkuruma. At the time, Tumwine was leading Kabalega. Indeed, as the rebels took Kampala, Mwesigye was still among the top 20 commanders. He has since served as the general manager, Luwero Industries, and the managing director, National Enterprise Corporation, NEC, the trading arm of the UPDF. He currently represents the people of Kabura County in Nyabushozi in Parliament. Muchunguzi. He had joined FRONASA during the war against Amin. In the bush, he was the commander of the fierce Mondlane unit but left mysteriously. Muchunguzi, who is the brother of Major General Fred Mugisha, the former force commander, African Mission in Somalia, AMISOM, worked for the Coffee Marketing Board and later as a security officer in the Uganda Revenue Authority. Brigadier Chihanda. Chihanda also fought under Museveni in FRONASA. When Amin was ousted, he went to Monduli for further military training. From Monduli, Chihanda would end up at Gulu military barracks. When Museveni announced the war, Chihanda escaped with 16 guns that were part of the 27. He was very close to Salim Saleh, the president's brother, that became his best man. Today, Chihanda is an attaché in Uganda's embassy in Saudi Arabia. Colonel Rutarago. Colonel Rutarago is currently the Commander Royal Guards, a force that ensures security of all cultural institutions in the country.
Thank you, Mark Wadulo, for those profiles. Now, the National Resistance Movement government is prioritizing and focusing on quality of education with the aim of ensuring that children complete at least 11 years of school from primary 1 to senior 4. Now, this is after achieving universal access to education, and this is being done through skilling to ensure human capital development and training teachers.
National Resistance Movement inherited a collapsed economy in 1986. In 1997, having realized that the country was recording a very low school enrollment, the government introduced free education for all program. The policy was to ensure that many Ugandan children are registered and enrolled in schools to at least have access to basic education. This program led to increase in school enrollment by 77% from 2.2 million in 1986 to 5.6 million in 1997. Since inception of UPE, enrollment has continued and over 8 million children are enrolled in school. The program also helped to tremendously bridge the gender gap, hence Ministry of Education achieving a decline in gender parity for all the subsequent years.
Children had gone back as a result of COVID. They were back home. And from back home, the management of those children was different from the different homes. And as a result, we had very many young pregnant mothers. So this, in one way or another, discounts the achievements that we had planned to achieve. It was resumed. The development is on the upward trend, and the enrollment is very high. Fortunately, young mothers were allowed to give birth and go back to school. So this is a plus on the Education Ministry. And
President Yoweri Museveni started upskilling the Girl Child program under State House, and a big number of girls have benefited. With government's continued investment in education, 90% of all parishes have a primary school and 90% having a secondary school. It completed and commissioned 6 secondary schools with a target of constructing 259 seed secondary schools. The district senior inspector of schools, Lira City, Ronald O'Mara, says this served pupils and students moving long distances to access education.
And as we talk, we have many schools that came up during this period that we are in. And we used to have long distance movement to access education. Unlike today, where there is emphasis of education institution in almost every locality.
More classrooms, schools and universities have been built, infrastructure refurbished. Currently, there are over 50 universities across the country, and yet previously people used to only know one university, Makerere.
Country, there was one university and I think one business college and a few education colleges. But today, there are about 50 universities in this country and so many other tertiary institutions.
Currently, we have almost in every region more than one universities. Like for example, in Lira City, we have more than 3 universities providing seal quality higher education.
Look at the university, there are so many mushrooming universities, but still they are grappling with costs of running university, development fees. The education sector budget, majority of the money goes to wages, paying people, but not development.
Some education services have also been digitalized to improve service delivery, efficiency and effectiveness.
The inspection sector where I belong, of late we have e-inspection, where next term we shall be undertaking electronic inspection, which is going to simplify our work and provide accuracy.
Education stakeholders appreciate good policies being introduced, like one to regulate school charges, but they urge government to implement, while others call on the Ministry of Education to act on the issue of homosexuality in schools that is tarnishing the name of the sector.
Many parents have got concerned that it could be something which is good, but it can end on papers. The emphasis is on implementation of such very important initiative in terms of policy to regulate school fees payment.
Homosexuality in our schools. And as on the floor of Parliament, we have already requested the Minister of Education to step in, submit a report, we debate and look for a solution for this vice that may derail and spoil all the 37 years' achievements.
The Shadow Minister for Education, Brenda Nabokenya, wants government to prioritize the budget for human capital development, increase the number of needy children beneficiaries under the Students' Loan Scheme.
We have a students' loan scheme in this country, which we could substitute for government sponsorship for the needy students who have good grades. But for this financial year, actually, this year, only 675 children were taken up as qualified to acquire loans to study at tertiary level.
Making budget cuts for education. You cannot have education without inspection. If you cannot even procure motorcycles for inspectors at local level.
I'm Nafka Farida, reporting in Kampala.
NRM party diehards and leaders of mobilization groups have implored the party to stride towards development. They, however, cited corruption and mafia as the key factors blocking service delivery to Ugandans. The remarks were part of the NRM party's 37th Liberation Anniversary celebrations.
Support of members and a firm foundation are a master structures for any political party to triumphantly dominate opponents. This is further backed by mobilization and pressure groups that traverse places to seal this overwhelming support. Team Thara YKM is one of NRM Party's mobilization groups. As the NRM Party celebrates the 37 years of liberation, Team Thara YKM Eastern Region Coordinator Ezra Watua applauded the party's achievements in the past decades.
During that time, there was wars, kidnapping, in that past government of UBC and others. People used to just come, they could just kidnap your wife, do that sexual harassment from there, while even ordering you to be clapping the hand. When we look at the roads, when we look at electricities, when we look even at the buildings, when we look at the schools, education sector, health sector, there is things that have been done.
However, Watua hints on what could have blocked and slowed down service delivery.
Implementation and how the system can run for the service to reach the grassroots-based people. It is still a problem, and mafiaism has become a problem in the country, whereby it is making NRM government to lose every day, day and night. I've been getting a number of information from our people. Even you use your own fuel, you use your own facilitation, you facilitate yourself to go on the ground and find the truth about the matter. But once you say that you bring and report this information to the responsible authorities or ministries, you find that there is a challenge of hindering that information to reach.
Infrastructure development is greatly considered under NRM leadership, as roads, health facilities, learning institutions, to mention but a few, have been put in place. However, government is required to extend more of these services to other areas. As the chairperson of Jandira Village, Kayabwe Town Council, Katonga, where the NRA bush war took place, Habari Kakomo states,
I only appreciate one thing, but according to the standard, it would not even be in that way. The technical, which was established at Katonga by President Yoweri Museveni. However, if you look at that technical, it would not even be like the way it looks like, because the technical itself still lacking so many things, resources, water.
Ivan Juko, Wycliffe Mudach for UBC.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but return after these messages.
Send transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Leaders who care create a good learning environment.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
*11.
Keeping an eye on all your balance the old way.
I got this. yeah. Balance is... yeah.
What is he up to now?
*11.
Keeping an eye on all your balance with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to see all your balance in one place and in real time. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now.
I do miss you.
Soka numpa hemanga tona genda kenyonta esuse kodia abasoga myuse nenkalama teriwa nenyola jonyambe umpe okuhema cause I love you hema everybody know oh hema maziganga gampomela.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabote Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabote deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabote Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Regulated by UCC.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still with us. Now, the challenges of water scarcity in rural and hard-to-reach areas across the country will come to an end following the introduction of the atmospheric water generator from Sweden to the Ministry of Water and Environment. The equipment that harnesses water from the atmosphere using high condensation technologies has been introduced to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Water and Environment, Alfred Okot Okidi.
Communities in hard-to-reach areas across the country face challenges queuing up for hours just to access water for domestic purposes. However, there is reason for them to smile now. This follows the introduction of the atmospheric water generator equipment from Sweden that can condense and harness water from the atmosphere up to a tune of 400,000 liters a day. This technology has been introduced to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment, Alfredo Court Okidi, at the ministry's headquarters at Luzira.
Kids and all women carry water, but we have a water source where no one needs to carry water. We can provide water locally, anywhere in the country, to the sky. And you know, the water in the sky is unlimited. So we don't need any pipes, no boreholes, and it's absolutely without any toxin.
Anders Anderson said the technology will help communities to have water sources cheaply, and said people will not need any more boreholes and will also support schools, health centers, among others, in the rural areas. The Permanent Secretary, Minister of Water and Environment, Alfredo Court Okidi, welcomed the technology.
The MOU we clearly capture the pilot phase and what we are going to do after the pilot phase on successful trial, because to me, if it is successful, it is a game changer.
This was in a meeting at the ministry headquarters in Luzira, and said they have agreed to first pilot the technology and basic on the success, cost benefit and quality issues that makes it superior.
To have a clean and reliable water source in the country. Yes. That is what the government has committed to do. And I think it is what the president also promised the people of Uganda when he was launching his manifesto.
Okot Okidi, however, encouraged the general public to remain calm, saying the ministry is working tirelessly to overcome the challenges of water scarcity, especially in the drought season.
Now, a study conducted by Makerere University College of Health Sciences has revealed that inadequate eye screening among premature babies increases their chance of blindness. Now, this is because most pediatricians and neonatal nurses have little knowledge about retinopathy of maturity, a leading cause of blindness among premature babies.
Births, one of the highest in the world. However, due to improved care in hospitals, premature babies now have high chances of survival. Unfortunately, majority of these babies risk being blind or having visual impairment due to lack of eye screening after birth.
Mothers usually take very long to know that their babies are blind, because by the time you notice that the baby is not seeing, this disease is already at a very advanced stage, and even with treatment, this baby might not be able to get the appropriate eyesight that they desire. So usually these babies are supposed to be screened within a month of birth. That is, if your baby is about 4 weeks to 6 weeks, they should be able to get an eye screening after they are born as preterm babies. So we advise mothers to come early, because by the time they realize that, oh, my baby is not seeing, my baby can't recognize me or cannot follow objects, it's already too late.
A study conducted by Makerere University College of Health Sciences has revealed that majority of pediatricians and neonatal nurses have no knowledge about retinopathy or prematurity, the leading cause of blindness among premature babies.
On our side, some of the challenges that we are facing is that not all the healthcare workers that are involved in the treatment are aware about the screening and when to screen exactly. So that has been one of the gaps that has been identified, but which we are addressing.
Researchers at Makerere University College of Health Sciences have now recommended that the Ministry of Health develop standardized national eye screening for premature babies. When these babies are screened early, the defects can be managed, although the treatment is still expensive.
you find that one bottle of this treatment is about 1.5 or 2 million Ugandan shillings. And even when we share it among babies, you find that it might cost them about 350 or 400 Ugandan shillings for only one injection. And government has not provided for this. So we might be able to recognize the babies, diagnose them with the disease, but we face a challenge when it comes to treatment.
The study, titled Attitude and Practice of Pediatricians, Neonatal Nurses and Parents to Preterm Infants Towards Retinopathy of Prematurity, was funded by Light for the World and was conducted in Kawempe National Referral Hospital and Mulago Specialized Women and Neonatal Hospital between August and September 2022. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Thank you, Adia Nakuti. Now, the implementation of the country-wide 6-year World Bank-funded project aimed at improving Uganda's forest cover has taken root, with the Albertine Rift being the major target. The project will see communities living around protected areas supported to get other sources of livelihood to reduce pressure on the forest cover.
Uganda is beefing up efforts to ensure that her forest cover increases from the current 13% to 15% by the year 2025. A 6-year nationwide project funded by the World Bank and government is now being implemented by National Forestry Authority, Wildlife Authority, Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, and coordinated by the Ministry of Water and Environment to increase the country's forest cover.
But also looking at how do we do afforestation across the board. That is now targeting all the other areas in the country outside the Albertine Rift. So this is a nationwide project which is not only targeting the Albertine Rift, it is targeting the whole country. And the main focus is one, seeing that the country's forest cover is increased.
Under the same project, vehicles have been procured to ease monitoring of protected areas.
We are launching these cars today because without our staff being mobile, without them checking the boundaries of the forest, without them checking that the forest is not being encroached on, we cannot achieve much in the forest sector. So that's why transport is one of the major tools and equipment which we give our people to make sure they monitor the boundaries of all our central forest reserves.
The project will see communities living around protected areas supported to get other sources of livelihood to reduce pressure on the forest cover.
The focus of this project is to ensure that we improve management of the forests. We ensure that the communities living around these forests don't impact on the forest by providing them alternative livelihoods, but also providing jobs, what we are calling the green jobs, from ecotourism and also from involvement in tree planting.
The long-term target under Vision 2040 is to have the forest cover increased to 24% as it was during the early 1990s.
So, fuel and maintenance.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me.
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next. Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now into the world of sports. The second edition of the Game Connect annual sports gala has climaxed at Wildview Primary School in Lamu district. It was graced by world-renowned athlete Kenya's Paul Tegat, but here in the capacity of Olympic Refugee Foundation board member. We have more details.
Participants from 5 refugee settlements and hosting communities have competed in the second Game Connect annual sports gala in Lamu district.
Game Connect is a sport for protection project implemented in a consortium of 5 partners. AFS Foundation as the lead, with Right to Play, Youth Sport Uganda, Uganda Olympic Committee and UNHCR. We are implementing the project in 5 refugee hosting districts and targeting over 11,000 youth across the 5 locations.
To me, Game Connect initiative is such a fantastic initiative that we came at the right time, because also in terms of the Olympic values, this is what we inculcate every time, that we'll be able to give to all sportsmen, regardless of your gender, your religion, regardless of your background.
The sports gala on the theme of sport for better mental health and a common identity was hosted at Worldwide View Primary School in Palabek. The players were from Kampala, Ajumani, Changwari, Kamwengeza, Ramanja settlement, and hosts Lamu that houses a Palabek refugee settlement. The netball competition was won by Kampala that remained unbeaten throughout. In football, Ajumani, by virtue of a better goal difference, edged all others after a round robin. The Game Connect and Sports Gala is funded by the Olympic Refugee Foundation, whose board member Paul Tagat was in Lamu and left impressed.
This is something that we want maybe to also to continue maybe in the near future, so that we will see our best to be able to tap to this athlete, because sports has a big opportunity for so many young people in terms of the mental issue, in terms of integrating with the communities and everybody else, both all genders, in terms of the men and the women, and also people living with disability and all that. This is something good for all of us.
The gala aims at promoting teamwork and cohesion, promoting fair play and sportsmanship, but importantly, as evidenced with a team composition, promotion of inclusion and participation of youth with special needs. John Barnes, Sentamu, BBC News.
Well, thank you, John Barnes, Sentamu. Now, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, but before we leave, we first take a look at the top stories tonight. Museveni warns against sectarianism, pledges more progress for Uganda on 37th Liberation Day. Government to receive atmospheric water generator from Sweden. 25% of the total global arable land faces desertification. And in sports, Paul Tegat impressed by Uganda's Game Connect project. Thank you so much for your company tonight. Now, from the team behind the scenes and myself, would love to wish you a lovely, lovely night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Get the most affordable 4G smartphone in Uganda from Airtel. Now heavily discounted from 250,000 shillings to 150,000 shillings only. Yes, 150,000 shillings only to keep you connected to your loved ones.
Dial *175*94# to activate free 1 GB instantly and 100% double data on all weekly and monthly bundles for 3 months. Get one today while stock lasts from the nearest Airtel shop. With Airtel, the smartphone network.
General Motors Corporation congratulates His Excellency the President of Uganda, Yoweri Museveni, Ugandans and all friends of Uganda on the National Resistance Movement Anniversary 2023.
We are working on plans to shift to electric buses, electric cars and electric pickups.
The commitment of the NRM government to industrialization and e-mobility is a firm step toward the sustainable economic and social transformation of the nation. E-mobility provides an appropriate solution addressing current development issues such as decarbonizing transportation, reducing air and noise pollution, reducing reliance on imported fossil fuels, and creation of green jobs. The government of Uganda, under the visionary leadership of His Excellency the President, has taken definitive steps toward building a robust, competitive and sustainable mobility industrial value chain in Uganda. The Kayola electric bus, the first